Okay, what we're asked to in this problem is we're going to looking at different ways of writing an angle and how do we convert between the different formats. And so first we have an azimuth of 220 degrees, so part A is pretty easy. What's the azimuth? It's just 220 degrees. And what exactly is a 220 degree azimuth? Well, we pop in our compass here, and a 220 degree azimuth will be coming out from our center and stopping here at 220 degrees. So this would be our angle. And now we need to figure out, well, what kind of a heading would that be? Well, to figure out the heading, realize that in a heading we have a north-south line. So if we draw in our north-south line here from 0 degrees to 80 degrees, or 180 degrees, sorry. To measure the heading, we measure the angle with respect to that north-south line. In this case, it's going to be that small little angle right there. So we can see that, well, if we're at 220, then that would actually be a 40 degree angle. So for our second question, what's the heading? Well, we're on the south side of the north-south line. So it's going to be south. The angle is 40 degrees. And it's on the western side, so that would be south, 40 degrees west. Now finally, to compute the angle in standard position, which will be useful later on when we talk about vectors, we need to draw in our x-axis. So there's our x-axis. And we of course need to measure that angle with respect to the positive x-axis. And again, you can kind of count. If you get this visual picture of a compass, it's really easy to do. 90, another 80, there's 180 would take us to there. It's at 220, which is 50 short of 270, or 50 past the negative x-axis. So it'd be 180 plus 180 plus 50, which would be a 230 degree angle in standard position. So interestingly enough, we're at the one place on the compass in this example that I chose where the azimuth and the angle are actually almost the same. In fact, the place where that happens is just a little bit further along at 225 degrees. A 225 degree azimuth would also correspond to a 225 degree angle in standard position. Okay, so moving on, let's start with a bearing and translate it over to the other two. So here we have a heading of north 35 degrees east. North 35 degrees east. Now I've went ahead and taken the liberty of drawing in my north-south line. So from north, I need a 35 degree angle in the eastern direction. So I need to make a 35 degree angle with respect to the north-south line. That would land me about right here. Okay. And so the first question is, what's the azimuth? Well, turns out if you're in the north quadrant, this is easy, because we know this angle right here is 35 degrees. It's 35 degrees from north. So the azimuth is actually just 35 degrees. Part B is in material because that is actually our heading. So the last question is, what is the angle in standard position. Want to measure the angle in standard position, we need our x-axis. So let me squeeze that in there. And we need to measure this angle. Well, if we already know there's 35 degrees there, we're 35 degrees short of a 90-degree angle. And so therefore, in standard position, we're talking about a 55-degree angle. Okay, next up now, we're going to say, okay, well, what if I have a standard position angle? And I want to know what the heading is, because I've worked something out and I got an angle in standard position, because that's how we talk about angles in trig. How would I translate that to a heading or to an azimuth? Yeah, I've taken the liberty here of going ahead and drawing in my x and y axes. So standard position would be 295, so we go around 90, 180, 270, and then just a little bit more. So that would be 270, 280, 290, 295. Okay. And now we'd like to know what the azimuth is. Well, we can easily read that right off the compass I have, but if you didn't have a compass, you could figure that out. 180 would take us all the way around to here, and we're, of course, in a regular heading that's 270, we're 25 past that. So take 25 from 180, and of course you can see we're at an azimuth of 155 degrees. And second thing, what's the heading? Again, headings are always with respect to the north-south line. So we need to know what this angle is. The fact that it's 295 tells me, hey, we're 25 short. So that angle is going to be 25 past 270. So that tells me, hey, it's going to be 25 degrees. We're on the south side. So it's south, 25 degrees. And then we're on the east side of the north-south line. Hopefully this will help you now as you try to deal with angles and navigation, which is something that typically gives a lot of students trouble. Hopefully now you'll be a little bit better at dealing with this. Just take your time and be careful, and good luck.